Good morning, children. In today's class, we learn the poem A Tiger in the Zoo. This poem is written by Leslie Norris. Leslie Norris is a Welsh poet. Welsh poet means he is from Wales. Wales is a country which is Wales is one of the countries which is formed the United Kingdom of Britain, and he is very famous for his poetry and his short stories. In this poem, the poet tries to explain the life of a tiger when he is a free animal and when he is behind the bars. Behind the bars means when he is kept in the zoo. And the poet used a technique called contrast, which we discussed in our writing skills part of Nelson Mandela. So here he contrasts the life of a tiger in a zoo and in a forest. So the first stanza, he stacks in his vivid stripes the few steps of his cage on pads of velvet quiet in his quiet rage. So here the poet is trying to tell us a tiger which is in the zoo, and how is the tiger and what is he doing. He is trying to tell us. The tiger is walking in his vivid stripes. Vivid stripes means bright stripes. Uh, it has very beautiful stripes on his skin, and the tiger is walking in the cage. The few steps of his cage, he is trying to say that the tiger is in the cage in the zoo, and it has very limited space. So what he was doing, he was walking the few steps whatever are available for him. He does not have freedom. He is restricted from his freedom, and he has a very limited space. In that limited space he was walking. So is he sick? No, he is not sick, because the poet mentions it has vivid stripes. Bright stripes means the tiger is very healthy, and but in spite of having health and strongness, it cannot enjoy its freedom because he was put in the cage. And he also mentions that on pads of velvet quiet in his quiet range. He says that no one cannot hear his footsteps when he was walking. Why? Because he has very soft feet like velvet. Because of which there is no sound of the tiger's footsteps. The tiger, and also what is the mood of the tiger? The tiger is very angry, but is he able to show his anger? No, he is trying to control his anger by quietly walking in the limited area which was given to him in that cage. So why is he angry? He is angry because he is not free. Same like in Nelson Mandela, the freedom was restricted to the tiger here. And moving on to the second stanza, he should be lurking in shadow, sliding through the long grass near the water hole where plum deer pass. So what here in the second stanza, our poet is trying to talk about a tiger who is very free and enjoying the freedom in a forest. So what is the tiger doing? The tiger which is in the jungle or forest, he should be lurking in shadow. Lurking in shadow means he was hiding behind a tree or somewhere in a shadow. Why? Because he has to catch his prey, food. To hunt his food, he needs to be very, he has to hide himself, and he has to wait very patiently for the prey. So he must be waiting somewhere in a shadow and waiting for his prey, or he must be sliding through long grass. Long grass in the forest, you will find a grass which is of our length, a tiger's length, or maybe he was sliding slowly and through the long grass and waiting to hunt the animal. Or maybe it is near a water hole where some water is there. So in that water place, the tiger is waiting to catch its prey which is going to come there and to have some water. And he mentions that prey could be Where plump deer pass, the prey could be a deer. So it can hunt a deer over there. So basically, the poet wants to say that the actual life of a tiger is to live in jungle or forest where he could catch his prey and eat it. But the tiger in the cage cannot do so. Now moving on to the next stanza. He should be snarling around houses at the jungle set, baring his white fangs, his claws, terrorizing the village. So here also he is again in the third stanza also he is talking about the tiger which is in the forest. So what he is saying that he should be snarling around houses at the jungle's edge. Jungle's edge means near the forest, at the edge of the forest there could be some villages. So this tiger which is free would have went there and would have snarled down the houses located at the outskirts of the forest. Snarling means giving warning sounds. Maybe he was roaring around and going around the houses in that village. And also what he was saying, he bearing his white fangs, his claws, terrorizing the village. The tiger is having sharp teeth, white fangs, and also his claws have strong, very sharp nails. So he must be showing his fangs, and when he roars, you can see his sharp teeth like this in picture, and his claws are having very sharp and strong nails with them. He must be trying to terrorize the villagers. These kind of actions would create fear among the people living in those villages. And moving on to the next paragraph. But he is locked in a concrete cell, his strength behind bars, stalking the length of his cage, ignoring visitors. Now poet is back to the tiger which is in the zoo. So here he is talking about the tiger which is in the zoo, which is very healthy, which is very youthful, which has a lot of strength. But this tiger can create a kind of fear what the tiger which is in the forest created. No. Why? Because he is locked in a concrete cell, a building made of bricks, cement, sand and water. So here he is saying the reality of the tiger which is inside the cage. The poet trying to say that the tiger is confined in a strong cell which is made of concrete, and he says that the tiger is behind bars, so his ferociousness, his strength also behind the bar. In spite of being strong, it cannot show his strength. And he further says that the tiger, as the tiger is behind the bars, he never tries to terrorize the visitors. The tiger which is free in the jungle can terrorize the people over there, the villagers. But here, the tiger in the zoo is not terrorizing anybody. It is just ignoring the visitors. And just ignoring visitors, what is he doing? It is just walking around the cage. In the picture, you can see there are 4 different tigers giving 4 different expressions. Just they ignored the visitors who are trying to take pictures, who wanted to get attention of the tiger. But this tiger is not terrorizing, not showing any interest, nothing, and he is not trying to attack them also. Now moving on to the last stanza in the lesson. He hears the last voice at night, the patrolling cars, and stares with his brilliant eyes at the brilliant stars. So this stanza also is about the tiger which is in the zoo. The poet says that in the night, the tiger which is in the zoo hears the sounds of the patrolling cars. Patrolling cars are the vehicles of police which are used to guard at night. So here Actually, that night the tiger must have been tired and it's sleeping time. The whole city is sleeping. Zookeepers are sleeping. All other animals must be sleeping, but the tiger is awake, and the tiger can hear the sounds of all these patrolling cars. And then what does he do? He stares at the shining stars with his shining eyes. So here the poet wants to say that the tiger is sad and he is confined in the cage, so he cannot do anything. Therefore, he must be staring at the stars in the night and tries to divert his thoughts towards them, or he must be trying to, think how to get freedom, or he must be trying to question God. Why did he take away his freedom? So this is the summary of the poem A Tiger in the Zoo. And today's home task is you need to underline all new words and find out the meanings from a dictionary and write in your writing skills book. Thank you.